All right, I'm gonna do a quick video on this 2010 Chrysler 300. All right, 2010 Chrysler 300, automatic. It's got the old 42 automatic overdrive 42 transmission. Basically, when you do this job, you want to chock these wheels because you got to put this in low. So I actually jacked mine up in the front. I'm going to take this cover piece off, but there's a bar right here that's real strong. I'll take that off, and then it's best to put your jack stands right here and just leave your jacks there, because basically you're going to be working on that transmission pan right there to get the valve body that does the shifting, the computer for it. So if you've never done this kind of work before, you're going to need some sort of pan. Oil pan's not very good because it's round, and that thing's pretty big. The square pans from the dishwasher pans are really good. And then if you don't want this stuff all over your driveway, go to AutoZone or whatever and buy you one of these drip pans. They're real nice because they're going to catch all that mess instead of, because transmission fluid is messy. Okay, on this side there's two electricals to remove, that one and that one. You got to flick those red tabbies up and get it off. This is going to be in low, and you can actually pull this little tang off of there, but when you turn that and rotate it into low, that's your shift selector. And what this does is when you put it in low, there is a spring-loaded bar that goes up in a little box. So when you put that in low, that retracts that thing all the way so it can drop past that bar, and you'll see that little thing inside. Also, there are two little cups that are on top of this thing when you take it out, and those cups are going to fall out. That's why you see people try to put the string. We didn't have no string, so we tried a wire, and we ended up using a rubber band. Now, no matter what gear, once this thing is pushed back up in here, right inside here is where that seal goes, and that's what's really hard. You'll get this up in here and it won't want to push. Eventually it'll break that little crest of this little round section in here to push that seal up in here, because the seal's about right there for the shaft. It may be right up in there when it gets pushed up in there, but I could not get this back on with this piece on, so I actually just pulled this off. It will come off of there. Then I could put this piece back in and tighten it down, and then I just push that piece back on. So you may just want to pull this off to begin with. That saves you a lot of hassle, because I couldn't figure out how to get that piece back on. So I did, let's see, on this side there's an electrical connector. So that's the three electrical connectors, and you cannot even see this one. So basically there is one of those little red tabbies. Let's see if I can get my camera up in there. I cannot even see the red tabby, but that's your right there. See, that little red tabby has to be pushed to the left to unlock it, and then press the metal tab right there and pull that up. That's the main computer that's in here that, ow, replaced. Hot, and be careful, those will be hot. Okay, so people say to put that in low gear. Unfortunately, when you do that, I've lost my key. Put it in my back pocket. Okay, so here's another problem people aren't telling you about. When you go do all this work, you have to press the brake, put this in low. That's your low. That's what they're talking about. The only problem is, now that this is in low, you can't turn the key off, take it out. It's stuck in there. So if you have this kind of ignition system, you're just going to have to leave the key on in the on position. Or, okay, you can turn it off, close the door. I think that'll kill the bell. All right, so that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to put it in low, and just leave the key in there, because you're not going to get the key out with that in gear. So that's another thing to think about. I wouldn't disconnect the battery, because you want to know that the computer has cleared that code or not. So I think I cleared the codes anyways when we were done, and didn't let it turn off by itself. But you have to have a really nice computer to turn the codes off yourself. You can't just have one of the cheap codes, because it's not in the module for the drivetrain. Actually, it is in the model for the drivetrain, but most computers don't have the computer section for the transmission in the drivetrain section. So you do have to have a really good computer to clear the codes yourself for the transmission module. We ended up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and lube or guard engine treatment or transmission treatment. This is the ATF +4 from Valvoline, full synthetic. They were saying like 5, but we took out 5, and this was full. That's almost 6, and those are hard to measure if those are really only 5 quarts, because that does not seem the same. So if we would have had a better way to measure, I guess my next step would be to pour these back into there and see if it's the same amount. So I'm going to do that and see if we end up with the same amount of quarts. I didn't think about that till just now. What we did is we had to use the string trick, which actually we used a rubber band to hold those little cups up inside. And these are the parts we replaced. That goes on the selector shaft. That's a little thing that goes in the valve body. This sits on the valve body. This one is actually right next to it. So those actually are in the valve body just like that. These are some pressure switches. And that's what was wrong with my big Isuzu box truck. Then we put this big pack in there. And this is your shifts. Overdrive, underdrive, low, reverse, 2 and 4. So this is you know, also part of your little valves. So I had a rebuilt one, and I was kind of questioning whether that one was new or rebuilt. I would have preferred new, but I'm pretty sure the one I got was rebuilt. Put the new filter that had a gasket on it. This one was extremely hard to put on that shaft, and when you're sliding, it's on that shaft, and that's what's getting stuck on the transmission. And also this selector shaft has to be in low, because there's a spring that tucks up under low, and we actually pulled it out in like neutral, and that thing wasn't tucked in. I'm going to get a picture of that and show you what I'm talking about. So I mean, these are the parts that we put in it. This little clip broke when we took it out, but thank goodness the new one had the clip on it. So this is all the parts replaced. It seems like it's fixed the transmission. Here is the parts for this. I guess I ordered that one from AutoZone. I don't see any other numbers on there. So, oh, there it is. There's the part number for that. And here's the other part number for that. So it's the 0578911AA, 050783336AC. So that's these two parts, and they go right beside each other inside there. And then this piece, there's obviously, I believe, the part number on that. And this is the original one. It has about 10,000 miles on it. So something was causing that thing to slip. And then I'll try to get some pictures and explain that. There are actually 3 electronics. This is actually on the passenger side, and then there's 2 sets of electronics that you have to unplug on the driver's side. So I want to try to get pictures of that as well. And then we got the highest quality gasket we could purchase, and it's called a LubeLocker, and it's a automatic overdrive 42 LRELR or something like that. So LubeLocker, that's what I'd get. I wouldn't mess around with trying to put RTV or anything like that. Get this. So that's your parts. Also, this came separate.
That. Ow! Replaced. Hot, and be careful, those will be hot.